Check it out, Augusta, my magnum opus. This took me 300 hours to make out of a single piece of Oh, no. Hey everybody, welcome back. We last left off doing the Garden of Tranquility quest, and now we're going to prepare for Monkey Madness. In doing so, I'm going to need some anti-poison potions, so we're going to minigame teleport to Castle Wars and go northeast to the observatory, where we can pick up that single dose of super anti-poison potion, world hopping 12 or 16 times to get 3 or 4 full potions. Remember that each dose of super anti-poison gives 6 minutes of immunity, whereas a regular dose of anti-poison only gives 90 seconds. We're also going to need some food. Wines and cakes just aren't going to cut it for this one. Wines are too heavy and cakes take too long to eat, so we're going to go to Port Piscarilius to fish up about 100 to 150 lobsters for the quest. Keep in mind, if you need some higher healing food, you could go to the Brimhaven food shop and purchase some swordfish and karambwan that heal 14 and 18 respectively. Alright, now that we got everything we need for the quest, let's go do it. Alongside our lightweight defensive armor, hopefully with a little bit of prayer bonus in there, we're going to bring the super anti-poisons we just got, along with some food and prayer potions. Because Monkey Madness is one of those quests that we're just going to blitz through start to finish, I'm going to skip over the bulk of it, but there are a couple things I want to touch on. The first is that you need to be very careful when going through the temple, as the demonic gorillas can body block you, and they will do a lot of damage. It's particularly important to be smart when opening the trap door, as there is an animation that will stall you from eating, and the gorilla's hits will stack up while you're going through the animation. And if you're not careful, you could end up dying once, or even twice in fact. Also, you need to be careful with the floor directly under it, because as soon as you go through the trap door, there's another animation where the zombie monkeys can then attack you and will stack you out, and you might end up dying perhaps a third time. The other thing is that if you're doing this without 43 prayer, you need to be very judicious with your food usage when running through the tunnel to get to Zuknok, especially since you have to do it a few times. During one of my runs, I blew through 24 lobsters without a point of healing wasted, and I still had 2/3 of a hallway left by the end. Just made it to Zuknok with around 20 health, so that could be pretty risky for a hardcore Ironman. If you have 43 prayer, just drink up and keep on running. This is a perfect opportunity to use energy potions and white tree fruits because they will make the run shorter, because you will run out of energy. The tunnel is long as hell. Oh, and you'll want to use your Lumbridge Diary Ring for the energy recharge as well. Upon completing the quest, we'll get 3 uncut diamonds as well as 10k cash, and we can immediately go upstairs and then to the bar to the east to talk to Darrow to have a little special training session. You'll have the option of specializing in strength and HP experience or attack and defense experience, and we're picking strength and HP. The justification here is that HP is some of the slowest experience to get, and higher strength means higher DPS means faster leveling for attack and defense later on. We will need to get attack to level 60 in order to use the Dragon Scimitar that we unlocked from Monkey Madness, which will cost 100k, so we'll have to grind for cash beforehand, but then we'll need to prioritize strength to level 70 so that we can get the combined 130 total attack and strength levels to get into the Warriors Guild in order to get the Dragon Defender. Boom. Now that we're done doing that, I'd like to focus on getting Eyes of Glovery done, but in order to do that we need 45 woodcutting in order to be able to chop a maple log. So Animal Magnetism and Enlightened Journey give a good amount of woodcutting experience, and in order to be able to do Animal Magnetism we need 18 Slayer, and the Wanted quest will give 5,000 Slayer experience. I myself already have 18 Slayer because I was lucky when I got a Slayer task from Mashna earlier, and you have to kill a bunch of wolves for the Chompy Bird quest, so got lucky there, but other people would have gotten something different, so I wanted to keep the route the same, so let's go do the Wanted quest. And unfortunately, I should have bought an enchanted gem from Mashna earlier, but we do need one to make the Calm Orb for the Wanted quest, so I have to go do that first before going back to Fallador to do the quest up until the point of making the Calm Orb, and then now we have to go down into Taverley Dungeon. To prepare for that, we're going to need our magic gear, an anti-fire shield because we're going to be running past some blue dragons, as well as the scorpion cage because we can finally get the 3rd scorpion down below. Head northwest into the Taverley Dungeon and run on all the way south to talk to Lord Dequarius to continue the Wanted quest. In order to get the last scorpion, we actually need to head east to the jailer to kill him in order to get inside the jail cell to talk to the guy to get the Dusty Key, so that we can go northwest through the door by the blue dragons and lesser demons. It's best to keep the key because we have to come back to fish up some lava eels for the hero's quest. Speaking of the lava eels, there's actually a Dusty Key spawn by those fishing spots so you can pick up some spares if you want. Keep on running past the black demons until you can sneak past the secret passage and pick up the final scorpion, so that the next time we're in Sears we can turn in the scorpion catcher quest. Now we're going to teleport to Varrock to continue the wanted quest all the way up until completion, upon which we will get 5,000 Slayer experience, bumping us up to level 25 and allowing us to do animal magnetism. But before we can do that, we need a couple items, one of them being a mithril axe, and the fastest way to get that is by taking the fairy ring system to the Enchanted Valley, wherein if you try to chop a tree spirit will come to life and attack you, and killing them has a 15% chance of dropping a mithril axe, as well as a 3% chance of dropping a rune axe. Lucky for me, on the first kill I got 22 nature runes, which will come in handy for high alching or superheating in emergencies. On the second kill I got the mithril axe, so that was perfect. And I decided to stay for a couple more, and I'm glad I did, because even though I got nothing on the third kill, I got another axe on the fourth kill, and that's important because the mithril axe required for animal magnetism is useless after the quest, so it's awesome that I got a new one, because now I have a new best in slot axe for woodcutting training. I didn't want to stay here for a ton of time, because you actually get a low amount of magic experience in the Enchanted Valley, but you do want to make sure you have 46 magic by the time we do the Eyes of Gluffery, because you cannot boost it. And the other item is actually a holy symbol, and I'm kicking myself for this because I've been to a crafting store multiple times now, and for whatever reason I just didn't buy a holy mold, because I could have easily made an unblessed symbol by now, and when we had gone to the monastery during the Garden of Tranquility quest, I could have gotten it blessed, so I have to make a detour for that. But then we're able to go to Draenor Manor, do Ernest the Chicken all in one go, and then immediately go downstairs and talk to Ava to start animal magnetism. Upon finishing animal magnetism, we'll get 1,000 experience in crafting, fletching, and slayer, and 2,500 woodcutting experience, as well as an Ava's attractor, which will automatically pick up 60% of our ammunition. Note that you can toggle the backpack to not commune items so that it won't pick up random items off the ground. When we get 50 range, we can come back and get the Ava's accumulator, which will have a 72% chance of automatically picking up ammo. Now that that's done, we can prepare for Enlightened Journey. If you still happen to have silk from the Korra install way back when, awesome, but I've happened to use it for quests since then, so I'm going to go steal some from Ardoin. We also need papyrus for Enlightened Journey, so I'm going to use the Ardy Cave teleport, go to the general store to buy papyrus, go to the market to thieve silk, and then the last step we have to do on the way is go to a farm. A convenient one for the quest is the one south of Falador, and we're going to get 9 sacks, 8 to fill with sand and 1 to fill with potatoes. Along with those items, as well as the candle, tinderbox, and dyes for the quest, we're going to go to Entrana and then start and continue the Enlightened Journey quest up until the point that he gives us a willow sapling and the bucket of apples to pay the farmer. Now we're going to have to play a little bit of the waiting game, or at least doing something else in the meantime, because once we plant this willow tree, it'll take 3 hours and 40 minutes to grow, and then after we check its health, it'll start generating branches. So if you happen to log off before checking its health and then log back in later, you have to do that first before it'll start generating branches, at which point it'll do it at 1 for 5 minutes, up to 5 total. But we need 12 for the quest, so it'll take 2.5 cycles-ish to get it done. Also, EV Games pointed out to me that you need another 6 for the Falador Medium Diary, so keep that in mind as well. There's a couple things we can do while the tree is growing that'll help speed things up later on. The first is get 45 woodcutting minus the 1500 experience we'll get from Enlightened Journey, and the fastest place to do that is at Teaks. I chose to do it at the single Teak southwest of Castle Wars. You can also get 5 construction, because we need that for Eyes of Gluffery as well, and in my case, as I mentioned in the previous episode, I need to go to the sawmill to purchase around 500 steel nails for 3 GP each, so that's 1500 GP for 500 nails, and I never really have to worry about them for a long time. We can also make the mud rune, which requires level 13 rune crafting. So I go to Draenor, pull out my talismans, runes, pouch, essence, go to the altar, craft a few water runes in order to get level 13 rune crafting, and then luckily I'm able to craft the mud combination runes because there's only a 50% chance, so it's a coin flip of whether it'll work or not. And in my case, that's lucky that it worked, because otherwise we'd have to kill some elemental wizards for a 1 in 20 chance at their talisman, and I really don't want to have to do that right now. While doing those activities, every 30 minutes I would teleport to Varrock to get some willow branches and white tree fruit. And at the end, I even logged out there while making dinner so that I could log back in later and have some extras. I'm just going to leave the tree there and get the remainders for the Falador Medium Diary later on, because I'd like to finish up this quest. Take everything we need back to Entrana, fly to Taverley, and turn in the Enlightened Journey quest, gaining 2k crafting, 3k farming, 4k firemaking, and 1.5k woodcutting experience that I mentioned earlier, as well as unlocking the balloon transport system. I'm not exactly sure what I'll use it for yet, but it allows transport to places like Castle Wars, Intrana, Taverley, and the Crafting Guild, and I know in the past people used to use it to craft law runes, so perhaps we'll do that once we get 54 rune crafting. One thing I wish I would have done while in Taverley was actually go to the herb shop and talk to Sanfu to start Edgar's ruse. I erroneously thought it started somewhere else, so I forgot to do it here, and I'll have to take the trip back, but it would have been efficient there as we're going to do a series of troll quests coming up. Continuing our preparation for the Eyes of Gluffery, we need to hit up the nearest bank to pull out some teleport runes as well as an axe, and then head to Sears to chop a maple log for the quest. While here, I wish I would have pulled out the Scorpion Cage to turn the Scorpion Catcher quest for 6600 strength experience, but I forgot to do that, so I'll come back later before I do any melee training. Alright, remember that when we did the Abyss mini quest way long ago, we started the Eyes of Gluffery, but we couldn't continue it until we had 5 construction. But the next step is to talk to Hazelmere on his island, so we can take the Firemaking system directly to it and talk to him to continue the quest as long as you have 46 magic. We're going to continue the quest all the way up to completion, gaining 12,000 magic experience, 2,500 woodcutting, 6,000 rune crafting, 2,500 construction experience, and a mysterious crystal seed that we can take to the room to the left of Brimstale and use it on the Singing Bowl, and it'll be transformed into a crystal saw, which gives a invisible +3 bonus when using items with that saw. And you can combine that with a spicy boost to boost up to +8, but only for items that use a saw, of course. And as a pat on the back for a job well done this episode, we're gonna head on over to Heckle Funch's Fine Groceries and treat ourselves to some top shelf vodka. Must have drank the whole thing too, cause I forgot I needed to buy 2 more for Bon Voyage. And because shares are a little low, we're gonna head to the ham storerooms and do an inventory or so. Just to clue you all in, the next episode coming out is going to be the part 2 of 4 for the tips and tricks, and then part 18 will be coming out after that, so just a heads up. Have a good one, everybody. See you next time.